is a kid that is really tired of hearing that they should go to church. An extreme tour kid hangs out at a skate park or behind a Walmart or I don't know where places that we found people, team. Gas stations. Where else? Under bridges. Where else, guys? Laundromats. We go and do what's called search and rescue. We go out, we look for these people in the communities. We're looking for the unchurched, the anti-church, and those who just really, really, really don't want to hear about God anymore. Notice what I said, they don't want to hear about it. They've heard about it. They get it. They know. They understand. Great, cool. I'm glad that works for you. It don't work for me. Okay? It's tough because we've been used to a particular form of evangelism, right? Like we get used to a particular form of evangelism. And what did Jesus ask us to do? He asked us to go out into the highways and the byways and to make disciples, right? Well, how are we supposed to do that if they're not going to listen to us because they're tired of our words, right? In 2015, my husband and I had this band, Filthy Rags. And I'm going to talk to you for just a minute, and then I'm going to hand it over to Damon, who's going to talk to you for a minute, because y'all know Damon, right? You remember Damon from last year? Wave your hand, Damon. Yeah, okay. In 2015, my husband and I, we come from a really dark, broken place, okay? My husband and I, we're in a place, so God rescued us from the depths of drug and alcohol addiction. When I say rescued, I mean literally stuck his hand down into the pit, all the way down, because we were buried underneath the mud. And he grabbed my toe and went, woo, command me. And so, we felt like our lives don't belong to us anymore, because we're living on his time, not ours. I lived my life on my time, and then that person had to die. And so now there's a new human that gets to walk around and
Hallelujah.
So anyway, let's not get too Pentecostal in here. We started writing these songs out of that experience, and the album was born. We wrote it on a guitar that he just gave away to a kid named Brandon in the last city in Hastings, Minnesota. He just gave his guitar away to this kid that always wanted to play, but we wrote this album on that guitar. And the songs came out of it. We were doing the Stuck in Indiana tour. My husband looks at me and he says, baby, one day somebody's going to call us and say, will you go? And we're going to have to decide whether or not we're going to go. And about that time, God started talking to me, and I just kept reading this verse where he's talking to Abraham, and he says, go into a land that I will show you. And he never tells Abraham what the land is. He just says, pack all your stuff and all your family and go, right? That's the faith, right? And so about the time that God keeps directing me to this passage about going to the land that I'll show you, he says this to me. And lo and behold, we get this crazy email. And Harry's like, I don't know if this is like for real or what. He asks the guy to call him. He calls him and they talk, and we had 10 days to pack up all of our stuff and say yes to doing what God was calling us to do, which was to the Extreme Tour. And there are some other circumstances that maybe I'll tell people privately, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to say that we went out on the road with a certain amount of financial stuff in our pocket, and we were putting gas in an RV and also in a van that didn't have the greatest gas mileage. It was about $140 about every 2 days. And when we got back, we had the same amount of money in our bank account. So that's that testimony. And it's not about money, but like God shows himself. He tells us in the word to test him in this. Like if you bring it to the storehouse, that's like the only time God asked us to test him. So that's a testimony to his faithfulness. But what happened on that experience changed my life forever, and I never really left the tour after that, and that was in 2015. So this is our 6th season with the Extreme Tour. And we have been very involved, but what changed me was the way that our primary purpose is to demonstrate the love of God by sitting with the broken, by coming and talking to them, by listening to them, building relationship, eating with them. What do we see Jesus doing in the Bible, guys? Constantly, Zacchaeus, come down from the tree that I planted long ago because I knew you were going to be short and you would need to climb the tree to see me. So there's my provision there for you to be able to see me. Come down and let's go to your house and eat. Let's go over here and have dinner so the Pharisees can come and be like, how come you're not washing your hands? Well, because this woman's cleaning my feet with her hair. You didn't even give me a bowl to wash my hands. We sit with the broken and we build relationship. And the relationship gives us the ability to declare into their life.
Praise his name.
But if you don't have a relationship, you have no right to declare into someone's life. If they don't know that you love them, they're only going to hear another God that's angry and mean and wants them to change and doesn't think that they're good enough or worthy enough. And haven't they had enough of that? Haven't you had enough of that?
Yes.
Of someone saying, you're not good enough, because you have this in your life or you have that in your life. But when my beautiful grandmother who raised me and has a relationship with me, I know she loves me. If nobody else on this planet loves me, I know that my grandmother loves me. And when she calls me and she says, I'm really, really concerned about the way that you're living, listen to the woman. She has a relationship. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Or am I rambling?
No. Keep going.
I'm really grateful for the Extreme Tour. It taught me how to love people the way that God loves them. It taught me that even when they're angry and cynical, that is just, it's good. That's their stuff coming out, And you gotta get it out sometimes. But you keep loving people through that kind of thing. The Extreme Tour is also a ministry not only to the people that we meet on the streets, but to the artists that come out with us out on the road. As you can imagine, personalities and stuff, we learn how to handle each other and living in close quarters and environments, and God really teaches us a lot of grace and compassion and mercy for our brothers. And he also teaches us that it's okay if somebody, sometimes we don't shower for 3 or 4 days. So we learn a lot of tolerance for that too. And it's also a ministry to our coordinators. So, we're a threefold ministry, but not in the way that you normally would think. The people, the artists, and the coordinators. I have never been more grateful to find my niche in my whole life. I fit into this ministry, in an unbelievable way. He's really gonna hate this when I do this, but there's a gentleman in the back named John, and he has been with this tour since its beginning. And he doesn't like it when people talk to him, but he's a great guy, and he's been around the whole time. He's Ted's best friend, our founder. I don't really know why I'm mentioning that, but I just wanted John to know that he's valued and we love him. Thanks, buddy. You can beat me up later. I'm going to turn it over to Damon now because I don't want to monopolize the whole service, but I just want you guys to know that we're so grateful to be here. Thank you for letting us come and share in the service this morning. Thank you so much for supporting what we do, just by feeding us and housing us and venue. And thanks to Jamie so much, and to you, Pastor, and to all of you, because this is the body. You know, this is the body, and it takes every single one of you in order to do stuff like this and to really, really minister. So God bless you guys. I'm going to turn it over to Damon, and then after Damon's done, we're done, okay? And everybody can go home and have nice soup and sandwich or whatever. God bless.